Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and my name is Nurkisina Huda binti Abdul Latif, and we are from group 9. So today we will explain about metal joining mechanical. So, do you know what is mechanical joining? Mechanical joining is a process for joining parts through mechanical method, which often involves thread holes. So, there is an advantage of mechanical joining. So, the first one is versatility, easy of use, and the option to dismantle the product in case where regular maintenance required is. The second one is the ability to join dissimilar materials, and for the disadvantage of using mechanical joining is the lack of continuous connection between parts because of joint is achieved through discrete point, and the second one is a holes created for joining are vulnerable to fractures and corrosion. What is fastener? The fastener is a device that used to fasten the two or more objects together. So there's two types of joint. That is a non-permanent and permanent. So let me explain for you about non-permanent first. So for the non-permanent, that is a joint that can be removed without damaging the joining component, and frequently assembly and disassembly are required. So for the permanent one, the permanent is a joint which, if required to remove, tends to damage both of the joining component and intend to stay fixed for a longer period. These are the types of fastener. There's two types, that is non-permanent. So for the non-permanent, the first one is screw, the second one is nut, bolts and washer, the third one is pins or key. So for the permanent, the first one is snap fix, the second one is rivet. So for the screw has a head on the end and the threads on the other ends. The screw also one of the most versatile types of fastener, and their thread shaft give them durable holding power. So how the screw is used? The screw is used to fasten object by digging in, wedging into a material. When turned wide, the thread cuts groove in the fastened material that may help pull fastened materials together and prevent the pulls out. Typically, you use a drill to make a pilot hole in a material and then use a screwdriver to drive the screw in a place. These are the types of screw. The first one is wood cutting screw, the second one is machine screw, the third one is thread cutting screw, and the fourth one is self derailing screw, and the last one is sheet metal screw.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Nur Kamalia Sofia binti Nur Azlin, and I am going to present for the second part of mechanical fastener, which are nuts, bolts and washer. For the first one, which is nuts. Nuts are flat steel pieces, usually hexagonal in shape with internally cut threads. Nuts are almost always used with a mating bolt. Nuts are kept together by a combination of their threads and compression of the parts to be held together. Nuts comes in various types and shapes, and each type has its own function. For the second one, which is bolts. Bolts are mechanical fasteners used for the assembly of two non-threaded components. Each bolt has a head and a thread. When an object is fastened, bolt will play its part by holding each object together, and at the same time, washer and nut will fasten from the other end and will hold it firmly. Next, for washer. Washer is a thin plate with typically this shape with a hole in the center that is normally used to distribute the load of a threaded fastener. Washer relieve friction, prevent corrosion or leakage, maintain tension, and may serve as a spacer. Washer can be categorized into three types, which are plain washer, spring washer, and locking washer. Plain washer is a common flat type of washer that reduces heat and friction during tightening process, while spring washer are an elastic washer which prevent fastening or losing due to vibration. And the last one, which is locking washer, are especially designed to prevent nuts and bolts from coming loose. How nuts, bolts, and washer works. Nuts, bolt, and washer works when there is two pieces of overlap sheet metal that have a hole, either drilled or punched. The hole will allow these hardware such as nut, bolt, and washer to pass through it to connect the two pieces together. As the bolt is tightened, metal wedge is thrown up inside a loose metal shield and make the shield expand, thus provide a really firm grip between the metals.
The fastener. Pins are used to hold the mechanical part together or limit the travel of moving parts. Firstly, we will go through quarter pin. Quarter pin, which is the same as a split pin, was made of soft wire. It is usually paired with castle nut as shown in the diagram. As you can see, there is a hole. There is a hole in the shaft that allows the quarter pin to go through the shaft. This is a hole, and this is a quarter pin, and it will allow the quarter pin to go through the shaft. And we can make it more secure if we split the end of split pin to the other part, like this. It will prevent the castanet from turning. Next, we have tapered pin, which is rod-shaped fastener used to position and secure items together, with one end slightly larger in diameter than the other side. The taper typically follows a standard increment in inch or millimeter. On this diagram, this is the first part and this is the second part, and there is a hole in the middle that each part have the hole, and a taper rod will be inserted in here and make these two parts combine together. The same concept is also you can see in the door hinge as the diagram. This is the first part and this is the second part, and there is a hole and a rod, a tapered pin insert in this hole and make these two parts are combined together. Advantages and disadvantages. Advantages. Ability to disassemble. As we know, pins are not a manual way to combine metal. No chemical changes, as we only use another metal. Ease of manufacturing process. While at the disadvantages side, material damage due to the hole formation, we need to make a hole at the original metal to fasten two parts of metal. Prone to metal corrosion, and metallic component may be subject to petty cracking. Way to fasten metal is using key. Key is usually made from steel, and it is inserted or mounted between the shaft and the hub. There are many types of key. There are square, flat, dual, feeder, cube head, and taper. There also have many variation shafts. There are parallel, pinion, and feeder. As we can see in the diagram here, this is a hub, and this is a motor shaft, and the tiny bit here is the key. So the shaft will go into the half, and the key will fit here to make it secure and to make it to prevent relative movement. We are going to talk about the advantages and disadvantages. The advantages of using kit is cheap manufacturing cost, and it is easy to mount and dismount, so it is very easy to reuse in the future. For the disadvantages, keyways introduce stress point due to notch effect and reduce shaft strength. Over time, key joint might become very difficult to dismantle.
Hi, my name is Nur Aisyah Shakinah binti Azali. I will talk about rivet. So what is rivet? Rivet is a permanent mechanical fastener. Typically can be characterized by a cylindrical body and with a hair on the one end. So there are three parts of rivet, as you can see here. The round shape we call the forged hair ataupun the original hair, and the cylindrical body we call the shank. And the another part of rivet, which the another end of rivet, we call the tail. So rivet has many variety type that differ in hair shape, differ in design, differ in material. But here we focus to most commonly used rivet, with the standard rivet, countersunk rivet, and the blind rivet. As you can see here, for the variety of rivet, they originally based on these three most common used rivet. Let's talk about the standard rivet. Standard rivet is the most common rivet and probably many familiar with. It's characterized by the round shaped hair that make it suitable for application that don't require any smoothness on the surface of metal. Second type of rivet we call the countersunk rivet. Countersunk rivet works very familiar with the standard rivet, where they both require access from the both sides of the structure. But the only difference of countersunk rivet compared to standard rivet is the hair shape. The shape of the countersunk rivet is designed in flat shape, as you can see here in the picture, where it's become closer and hidden from the surface of the structure while it was driven in. The last type of common rivet we call the blind rivet. Blind rivet is very special because the access to the structure is only possible from the one side, and also the design of blind rivet only composed of two parts with a durable nail-like mandrel and also a weaker, thicker hair that typically made of aluminium. Blind rivet is very special because it requires the special equipment we call the rivet gun, compared to standard rivet and countersunk rivet only require equipment like hammer. So let's talk how rivet was applied. Actually, the way you apply the rivet is based what type rivet you using, what tool you have. So if you have using standard rivet, you can use tool like hammer, like in this picture you can see, and I will show the short video for you. So from this video, as you can see, they using the hot first hot hitting the rivet first. Why they hitting? Because by hitting up the rivet is made more easy to deform the structure of rivet. As you can see here, this video, they use the hydraulic hammer. Inside the hydraulic hammer, there are already a mold. When they use force to deform the structure of rivet, the structure of rivet will be deformed and follow the mold shape. In this case, they follow the round shape. So let's talk about the blind rivet. As we discussed earlier, blind rivet is very special case because they require the rivet gun. The principle of fastening view the material deformation is still same, but I will show the short video and you can see the difference between blind rivet and the standard rivet or countersunk rivet that we use with hammer. So let's see this video how pork rivet or blind rivet works.
A rivet has a shank and a mandrel. The rivet is inserted in a hole drilled through two materials. A rivet gun pulls on the top of the mandrel, expanding the shank. As the shank expands, Pulling on the mandrel clamps the two materials tightly together. The force from the gun then snaps off the mandrel head at a pre-made breakpoint. It's called a pop rivet because of the sound the head makes when it snaps off.
Now let's continue with the advantages and disadvantages of rivets. Sorry for that. Okay, the advantages: rivet has very high durability. For example, like solid steel rivet, they have very huge resistance with the cohesion, moisture, and even chemical. Next, rivet is very easy to install. As you can see in the video, where they're using the hydraulic hammer, and the pop rivet is very easy to install and take less time. But the disadvantage of the rivet, they create the permanent collection. How disadvantages? For example, you make the mistake, you need to change the condition or the position of rivet itself. The only way you can destroy this connection is by drill or destroy, and it's made also it's probably has risk to destroy the structure of the material itself. So that's all for me about the rivet. This is the references that has been used in this slide, and thank you for watching this video. And if you have the question, please ask. Myself and my member group is ready to answer your question. Thank you.